us that why would we want to study all of this? Why would we want to start with dynamic programming? Why we want to learn it, and what all we want to do, right? So the first doubt that comes to our mind is, yes, of course we want to do this for placements, right? Because in placements we will have many coding rounds, we'll have interviews, and there will be the dynamic programming is the most famous topic of all of them. So just tell me one thing, have you coded a dynamic programming problem already, or you are complete beginner to this topic? So because that way only I'll be able to. Okay, beginner. Okay, complete beginner. Oh, okay. Only know zero knapsack. Okay, no problem. Have some basic idea, right? Right. Cool. So what I'll do is I'll start from the very basics, right? Like what is dynamic programming, and the most basic problem there is in dynamic programming. Start with that, and I'll I won't be advancing to the tough problems. Okay. So also I want to know how much time do I have here? 1 hour or more? Anyone from the panels?
So you have time till like 8:45. You can go until 8:45. That's okay.
So it's scheduled for
Like
1.5
hour. Yeah, 1.5 hour is okay. Like it's up to you. Like if you want to extend some time more, like it's okay.
Yeah.
It's
So
okay for us.
let's do it till 8.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
it's 1.5 hour, right? So let's do it till 9.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
say?
Cool. Not an issue.
No problem. So I'll start with the very basics of dynamic programming. I'll explain you the terms used in dynamic programming so that whenever you move ahead and solve some problems related to dynamic programming, you move with that approach. Okay. So I'm not here. So today I won't be solving the advanced problems or even the medium problems. I'll be just telling you the theory about dynamic programming and the terms used in dynamic programming. Cool. I hope it's completely fine with everyone. And then we can begin. Right. So before beginning, I just want you to keep one thing in your mind, that dynamic programming is the most asked topic. Of course, we can say like dynamic programming and graphs are neck to neck with each other on interview problems, but still dynamic programming has a vast area, right? Graphs have some normal algorithms, right? There are some already formed algorithms which are being used everywhere, but it's not the same for dynamic programming. You can get a new question in dynamic programming every day, because it is kind of similar to mathematics. It's very vast, right? But the graph is not that vast. We have limited algorithms, right? We have limited definitions, and that's not so for the DP. Cool. So instead of dynamic programming, I'll just call it DP. Let's save time now, and I'll share the screen. Just a second. So if you have any questions regarding Google or something, you can ask me. It's no problem at all. Cool. And okay, I think I need to join back in. I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, so I'm back, and let me share my screen. अच्छा सर, डीपी प्रॉपर सीखने में कितना महीने लगेंगे? Okay, so शौर्य, there is no specific like कि इतने ही लगेंगे, but it's like कि once you do this webinar, मतलब इसमें मैं I'll just introduce you. What is introduction? Nothing, but it will just save your time when you'll be solving problems. right? So इसके बाद मैं तुम्हें एक assignment type दे दूंगा which is already there over the internet and I'll ask you to solve those problems. एक बार तुम वो 26 problems जो होंगे एक बार उन्हें solve कर लोगे, then you can say that yes, you have understood the DP thoroughly, right? Of course, there are many problems, thousands, right? But I'll just give you some 26 problems, a set of problems which is already there, and just do those 26 problems in detail, right? Of course, those are in increasing difficulty order, but yes, it will take some time and you will easily understand Ang programming. Then you will never face any difficulties in DP if you do those problems. Cool. So let me share the screen again. Yeah. So is my screen visible now? Yep. Cool. So this is OneNote and I'll be just writing things down here. And if you have any doubts, because of course you are completely beginner, don't worry. And also if you want me to code, I can code. I'll be coding in C++, right? And we'll do that too later. No problem with that again. See, just look at this code. Isn't it too much? Of course, it's a dynamic programming code and I have already used this. And this is again a DP code, right? So this is the level where you need to reach, where you'll understand how is DP working, right? You just need to have a basic understanding. Just don't get afraid from this code. We'll be solving everything bit by bit. No problem at all, right? So let's start dynamic programming from the very basics. So we have the first term, which is dynamic. And the second term is programming, right? So what does dynamic means? Anyone? Right now, we are not worried about the dynamic array or dynamic memory allocation or things like that. These are some specific algorithms, dynamic programming, right? Which constitutes of some spatial definitions. And when we are using that definitions, we'll be kind of solving the problems here. Solution changing according to the situation. Great. During runtime, okay. Not fixed memory allocated during, okay. Dynamic is dynamic means the things which keeps on changing, right? So recursive codes, that's an interesting definition because in all the dynamic programming, all, right, I'm saying all, that in all the dynamic programming problems, you will face a recursive programming definition, right? You will face this, you will see a recursive code in all the problems. Okay, programming is a way that produces output using small parts of similar sub problems. Okay, cool. So firstly, we have dynamic, which is, it means it keeps on changing with time, of course. And the second is the programming, like how are we coding it in such a way that it is being dependent on different time zones, right? It is changing on different time zones. So the first thing we have is dynamic. So in other words, what I'll do is I'll explain you this way. Let's say we have a function, right? So have you heard about Fibonacci numbers, guys? Yes, cool. So that's the most basic example. Cool. So we have Fibonacci numbers. And I'll start with this example only because we all are beginners here. So what's a Fibonacci numbers? We generally say, let's say they start from 1, 1. This is the first term of its Fibonacci series, right? So we have 1, 1. This is the first term of the series, the second term of the series. The third term of the series will be the sum of previous two terms, right? So it is 1 plus 1, which gives me 2. So 1 plus 2 gives me 3, 2 plus 3 gives me 5, 5 plus 3 gives me 8, and so on. So there's a fifth term, sixth term, seventh, eighth, ninth, and so on. It will just keep on continuing. Right, guys? Any problem in the Fibonacci series to anyone? It is similarly, it is nothing but f of I is equal to f of I minus 1 plus f of I minus 2. Right? So this is the most basic example, but why is this or how is this example related to dynamic programming? We'll see that, right? So how I define dynamic programming, how I define DP is by saying that DP is nothing but an optimized recursion. Just look at these words, optimized recursion, right? So how is dynamic being involved in optimized recursion? Let's check that, right? So let's say I want to find out what is the Fibonacci of 6, right? So to calculate Fibonacci of 6, what do I need to calculate? If I write a recursive code, we need Fibonacci of 5, which is f of I minus 1, and we need Fibonacci of 4, right? If you have any doubts, guys, I'm constantly looking at the chat. Let me know, okay? If you have any doubts, no problem. So now again, see, how is it changing, right? Earlier it was f of 6. Now it's the same function, right? So what does recursion mean? Recursion again means the same thing, right? Which is re plus occur. That means it is occurring again and again. What is occurring again and again? The f, the function, right? So as we can see that Fibonacci of 6 depends on Fibonacci of 5 and Fibonacci of 4, right? See how it's changing, right? Now Fibonacci of 5 will depend on Fibonacci of 4 and Fibonacci of 3. Similarly, Fibonacci of 4 depends on Fibonacci of 2 and Fibonacci of 3, right? So let's say Fibonacci of 2 and Fibonacci of 1 are the base cases, right? I'll explain you what are the base cases. The base cases are the cases where recursion finds the final answer and manipulates them and makes up the bigger answers, right? Or we can say the leaf nodes. Cool. So this is f of 3 plus f of 2. If you have understood, it's fine. I actually need to make this whole tree because it will be used in later definitions, right? So just hold on for a second. F of 2, f of 1, and similarly, this will also be f of 2 and f of 1, right? So these are the base cases. Yeah, again, we have f of 1 and f of 2. Sorry. Cool. Now, guys, these are the leaf nodes. These are the base cases that I was telling you about. And of course, I'll be explaining all the terms to you. Don't worry about the terms. The base cases are the cases where we know the final answers, right? Of course, guys, some of you might be saying that, yes, we know what is Fibonacci of 6, but don't worry about that. Don't look at it that way, right? It is not only about Fibonacci numbers. This can be any function. Let's say this is some other function like f of some x comma y comma z, and it depends on some f of x comma y comma z minus 1, or let's say it multiplied by f of x minus 1 comma y minus 2 comma z, and so on, right? So this can be any function which is dependent on itself, like, so it's a reoccurring function. I hope these terms are very clear to you. Like, what is dynamic? Dynamic means it's changing with time. But what is changing? Only the definition is changing with time and nothing else, right? The function is same. And the second thing is that you need to keep in mind that it is an optimized recursion, right? So I have told you what is a recursion by making this tree, of course. And now you need to understand what does optimized mean here, right? So we haven't come to the part which is optimized. Cool. So now tell me, guys, just to calculate f of 6, how many calls are we making in the recursion? So okay, so tell me, have you ever coded, guys? Have you ever coded anything? Okay, so if I code a very basic thing in C++, will you be able to understand a basic recursion? Cool, great. So yeah, so this is so to have a good hold on DB, we have to have a good hold on. No, sure, again, this is again a misconception. See, 2D matrix. So I'm getting this by you asking this problem because this is not the way I see dynamic programming. Dynamic programming to me is a graph. See, this is a graph. It's not a 2D matrix, right? It's a graph. The 2D matrix that you are asking about is kind of optimizing things. Okay, I'll come to that. You will understand, Shaurya. Okay, don't worry. You'll understand that. I'll come to that. Like, in the meantime, you'll understand your doubt yourself. So I just want to print Fibonacci of 6. Cool. And where is Fibonacci of 6? So don't worry about these two lines. These are nothing. It will just take input from here and write output here. Okay. That is input, read to standard input, which is C in, write, that is W2 for output.txt, and it will write in standard output, which is C out. Cool. So let's write a function, normal function. It will give the nth term of the Fibonacci numbers. So if I say if n is less than equal to 2, I'll return 1. Why am I returning 1? Because this is the base case, right? Because if n is 2, that means I'm talking about Fibonacci of 2, which will return me 1. See, for some of you, this might be looking too basic, right? But hold on there, right? Just hold on for half an hour and then you'll understand. And then we'll kind of have a high pitch, right? We'll accelerate. So just hold on if it seems too basic for you. You'll understand a lot of things here, a lot of things, right? So n is less than equal to 2, I'll just return 1 because Fibonacci of 1 or 2 is equal to 1. Cool. Because that's what I started my series with. Sometimes it starts with 0, but it's fine. It's fine both ways. And otherwise, what I'll do is I'll simply return Fibonacci of n minus 1 plus Fibonacci of n minus 2. So how many recursive calls are being made, guys? If I talk about finding Fibonacci of 6, these many recursive calls, this is the whole structure, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I hope you're getting this, that how many recursive calls are being made, or let's print that also. Cool, let's say count is 0. Whenever I'm coming in a recursion, I'll increment the count and I'll simply print the count after this. Cool. So to calculate Fibonacci of 8, we are having 15 calls, right? Now let's calculate Fibonacci of 7. To calculate Fibonacci of 7, we are having 25 calls, right? So if I make a Fibonacci of 7 tree, which will be kind of f7 will be dependent on f of 6 plus this tree, the f of 5 tree, right? Which will be here, f of 5, and this will be the whole tree. Are you getting this diagram, guys? Cool. Just keep on interacting with me, okay? Otherwise, I'll sleep. So to find out Fibonacci of 7, we have 25 calls. Now to find out Fibonacci of 8, how many calls? See, 41 calls. It's increasing really quick. Let's do 10. 109 calls, 10 times. For 15, we have 1219 calls just to find out Fibonacci of 15. You know, it is the 15th term in my Fibonacci number, but how many recursive calls are being made? 1219. And finally, let's do 20. We are having 13,000 recursive calls just to calculate Fibonacci of 20. So I hope you have understood what is recursion, right? Recursion is nothing but a function calling itself, and finally it will have a base case which will return the final values. And I hope you are also understanding this part, that what is count representing, that these many times recursive function is being made. This kind of tree is being made whenever I'm calling a Fibonacci number, depending on this particular formula, we can say, right? Now, what next? So now we have to understand why is optimized being written here. Like it's very important, right? So this is a major part. Now coming on to the optimized part, right? So to understand, so firstly I'll explain you what does optimize, what does recursion, all this mean, and then I'll jump to the dynamic programming's definitions, and I'll relate those definitions here. Cool, because those definitions are those words are like, they sound huge, but they're actually not huge. I'll directly relate them to the things I'm explaining here. Cool. So guys, tell me, let's say let's say there was a recursive function which was called and it calculated Fibonacci of 4, right? So how will recursion work? Recursion will start from Fibonacci of 6, it will call Fibonacci of 5, Fibonacci of 4, right? So let's say it's called Fibonacci of 4 first, then it will call Fibonacci of 2, and then Fibonacci of 3, right? I mean that instead of going in one subtree, it will firstly complete one subtree. I mean the subtree which is it is already going in, kind of a DFS, we can say, in a graph. Are you getting my point? That first, if it goes in this subtree, that is, if it goes in f of 4, this f of 4 will be calculated. Afterwards, f of 5 will be calculated, right? It's diving deep into that subtree, calculated that part, now going into the other subtree. And this is for every subtree, right? Yeah, BB is correct. And that's what I want to show you, that let's say it calculated Fibonacci of 4. Cool. Let's say it calculated Fibonacci of 4. Now it goes to calculate Fibonacci of 5. And in that it again calls Fibonacci of 4, right? So should that Fibonacci of 4 be calculated again? Can we kind of store Fibonacci of 4 somewhere and use that Fibonacci of 4 when we are encountering it again in recursion? Are you getting my point? That means once f of 4 is calculated, I'll save it. And when I save it and I come to Fibonacci of 4 in some other path of the recursion, I'll simply return back from here. I won't go into 3, I won't go into 2, I won't go into this one or this 2. That means this whole subtree is useless for me. Why? Because Fibonacci of 4 has already been calculated. And it's not just an example of Fibonacci of 4. Fibonacci of 3 will also be calculated if Fibonacci of 4 is calculated, because it's in the subtree of Fibonacci of 3. That means here also I'll return back. I won't go into this part also because that has already been calculated. So Ayush, just wait a second, don't confuse everyone. Coming on to memoization. So now here is a part which is called memoization, right? That comes into role. So memoization are part of DP and they're not different things. Cool. Memoization. Right. So in memoization, what we have is, what does it mean? It kinds of means that we are saving something in memory and we are using it again. We are memoizing it, right? So that when it comes to us again, I'll just return back without calculating it again. Cool. That means it is stopping multiple calculations, right? Yes, that's what I want to explain, sure. That why is optimized here? Because optimization means that it is kind of improving something, either efficiency or time or storage, right? So let's see. Now what I'll do is I'll simply take an array and let's call it Fibonacci array. And right now I'm just taking it for how much is my n here? It is 20, right? Let's take it for 21 because we need that. Cool. So in this, what I'll be doing is I'll be storing everything in this Fibonacci array once it's calculated. Cool. So before this, let's fill this array Fibonacci with -1. Cool. So there is this function which is memset. Okay, if anything is being if anything here is being confusing, please let me know. Or I think better would be, if I don't want to confuse you, let's take a map. So everyone knows what a map is. Is there someone who doesn't know what a map is? No, sir. Okay. Everyone knows what an array is then? Dictionary is a map, right? Can say. Cool. Let's take an array. No problem. So what I'll do is I'll just take an array. I'm just defining it globally. Just don't get confused. Cool. Just defined a very huge array that shouldn't affect our thing. I'll be using this array as a memo pad. What is a memo pad? That helps in memoization, right? So before calling Fibonacci of 20, I'll set everything in my array to be of -1. Why? Because Fibonacci numbers cannot be -1, right? So I've already placed my whole array to be -1 initially. Every value in my array is -1. Now what I'll do is I'll simply say that if, just a second, that if, okay, it has the same name. Let's call it Fibo. Right. So this is a base case. So I'm just skipping the base case, coming down, right? Let's say it's not the base case. And what I'll do is I'll simply say if Fibo of n is not equal to -1, I'll simply return it. Cool. Just hold on there for a second. And let's say that this is memoization. It will become slightly confusing, but we'll go over it. Right. That means if it is not equal to -1, that means if it has already been calculated, then it will not be -1. Why? Because I'm saving it. Cool. I'm saving it when I'm calculating any Fib-n, right? So now what we can see is, okay, let's build this. Let's build this once. It is Fibonacci of 20. We had 13,529 calls if we have had raw recursion. Let's build this. Okay, Fibo. See, earlier we had how many calls? 13,000, right? 13,529 calls. But now how many calls are there? The 37 calls. Are you getting this part, that how is memorization being helpful for us? How is storing a data? See, this is the part where I have calculated it. Okay, let's run over. Let's do a brute force and let's understand this. It might be confusing to some of us. So this is okay. So why we wrote Fibonacci n in written, right? See, if Fibonacci of n is calculated, that means there is some value in Fibonacci of n, right? So what should this function return to me? This should return Fibonacci of n, right? So if this function should return Fibonacci of n, that means Fibonacci of that means the value which is being stored in the array, which is Fibo array, that value should be written, right? Because that's what we are storing when we are calculating the Fibonacci numbers. See, if I do Fib of 10 right now, just after this, Fib of 10, then it won't go in all of the recursion, right? It will simply come here first. It will do a count plus plus, ignore that. It will see is n less than equal to 2, but 10 is not less than equal to 2. 10 is greater than 2. Then it will go inside here. It will say Fibonacci of 10 is not equal to -1, and it will not be -1. Why? Because it has already been calculated in Fibo of 20, right? I'm calling it after that. So it will simply return me what is Fibonacci of 10, which has already been stored there. So let me just go over this array once. So let's say I called Fibonacci of 6. Cool. Now Fibonacci of, so initially everything is filled with -1s. So I called Fibonacci of 6. Now in Fibonacci of 6, Fibonacci of 5 is being called. See, Fibonacci of 10, this see out, Fibonacci of 10 will require will require 1 call. Why? Because it has already been calculated. But if I say that, okay, find out Fibonacci of 100, then it will not require 1 call. Why? Because only till 20 have been calculated here, right? Then if I call 100, and it will call 99 and 98, and they have not been calculated, so they will call 97 and 96, and so on. The tree will go on. Cool. So see this. So now Fibonacci of 5 is being called. So I'm just going in one path first. Now Fibonacci of 4 will be called. Fibonacci of 3 will be called. Cool. So Fibonacci of 2 will be called, which is a base case, right? So Fibonacci of 2 will return 1. That's a base case. Yeah, so that's the base case. We will return 2. Now Fibonacci of 3 will also call Fibonacci of 1, which will return, right? And now this Fibonacci of 3, what will it return? Fibonacci of 2 plus Fibonacci of 1, right? So Fibonacci of 2 and Fibonacci of 1 is 1, 1, which it will return as 2. But before returning it, what it is doing is, it is kind of saving it in the Fibonacci array, right? So let me simplify it for you. So let's say x is equal to Fibonacci of n minus 2, y is equal to Fibonacci of n minus 1, and Fibo of n is equal to x plus y, and finally it is returning me Fibo of n. I hope this is more clear. It is calculating x, it is calculating y, it is saving x plus y here. It is the same thing that I have wrote earlier, but just a more educational inclined way, right? So this is Fibonacci of n, which is x plus y, and then it will return Fibo of n. Cool. So that's what I'm doing here is, now this 3, initially it was -1, but now this will be saved to 2. Are you getting this, guys? Are you here? We are on the same page right now. Any problems till here? That how did this 2 come? No, right? Cool. Now, guys, Fibonacci of 4 will call Fibonacci of 2, which is a base case. Base case will return is 1, and this 3 is returning it 2. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So it will return 3 to Fibonacci of 5. So again, before returning, it will save and return. That means if it is not calculated, just calculate it and save it. So that whenever it is being asked to calculate it again, it will just return back. So it is, have you heard about cache? I don't know what it is pronounced. Heard about this? So isn't that the same thing, that there are some things which are stored in cache so that the next time you visit this web page, it gets loaded instantly instead of fetching the data, right? The things are stored there, right? So that it is quick for me to use that, right? Instead of calculating it again or computing things again, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same thing that we are doing it. We are just optimizing it by saving it. Cool. And now, guys, Fibonacci of file will call Fibonacci of 4. So this is the important part. Now, when Fibonacci of 4 is being called, let's come back. Let's trace it. So n is not less than equal to 2. It will come here. Now, tell me, is this statement true? That Fibonacci of 4 is not equal to -1? Yes, this is true. Why? Because Fibonacci of 4 has already been calculated and it is not equal to -1. Right? Of course, guys, I can fill it with 0 also. Then I just have to have a condition of 0, right? Just fill this thing with something with a result which is not possible. So -1 was not possible because all are the positive integers. So that's why I filled it with -1. So now when Fibonacci of 4 is equal to 3, right? So it is not equal to -1. That means it is calculated. So it will simply return back Fibonacci of 3. It will not go over here, right? It is just written back from here. So if it won't go in the branches of the tree, in the children of this, that means I'm optimizing things. I'm saving time. I have less iterations, less calls to make. Yes or no? Okay, sorry, it will be 3, not 4. And Fibonacci of 3 is 2. Sorry. Right. Cool. So now Fibonacci of 5 is calculated. So what will happen? 3 plus 2, which is 5, will be stored here, and it will be returned back, which is 5 will be returned back. Now Fibonacci of 6 will call Fibonacci of 4. So Fibonacci of 4 is also already calculated. It will simply return me back 3, and Fibonacci of 6 will finally return me back 8. Cool, guys. Any problem in this right now? In memoization part, like what is memoization? How does it work? Why does it work? Why we need it? Why we want it? It's the basics of DP, right? Nothing else. How will we calculate the time complexity after this? Nice question. So first way is to directly have a count, right? Let's say how many calls are being made now. Let's see how many calls are being made for the terms, right? So instead of Fibonacci of 20, okay, let's do it for Fibonacci of 20. Sorry. Yeah. 37 calls. So it is less than 2n, less than 2 times of this. See what will happen, guys. Once Fibonacci of 4 is being calculated, Fibonacci of 4 will be called again at some other place, and at that time we'll return back, right? So we can kind of expect, although there is no hard formula for that, but we can expect every call being made twice. Once it is calculated, and the second time it is being returned, not calculated. Cool. And let's do it for 50 now. See, earlier we were getting okay, so what happens is that Fibonacci of 50 will not fit into integer because it is exponentially growing, right? So if it will not fit into integer, it will give me a garbage value, right? So let's fit it. Let's make it fit into integer. So let me define int as long int. Cool. So wherever I have written int, that int has become long int everywhere. And I've changed this because there's nothing long main, right? It has to be int main. Cool. So now you can see this is Fibonacci of 50, and how many calls are being made? 2 into n minus 3. Agree karte ho? You agree with this, everyone? Now let's go for 100. Again, 2 into n minus 3. Right? See, we are getting a pattern here, right? But we are not sure why we are getting pattern, but we can be sure if we just deep dive into this graph. You'll easily understand why we are getting a pattern. Now we can even calculate 1000 because I have taken an array to be 10 to the power 5 length. Now see, it's giving me answers so quick. Why? Because we have only 2 into n minus 3 iterations, right? So if you want the raw count of time complexity, then it is 2 into n minus 3. We have seen that, right? But overall, what is O of 2n? It is O of n. Any other problems in this to anyone here? Is this clear, guys? So if I don't get doubts, I think that I'm not teaching well. So please give me doubts. Yeah. So nice question, Anmol. Can it be more optimized? So from having a exponential complexity, we have come to a O of n complexity, but sorry, O of 2n complexity to be more precise. But now we want to go to a O(n) complexity. So I'll do that, and then we'll understand another term which is called tabulation. So the memorization part should be clear. Now the second term is tabulation. So this might be familiar to many of you. And so in memorization, what we did was we calculated something and then we stored. But in this, the calculation and storage part is On equal to On square? No, On is different from On square. What is n square? If I have 1000 entries, that means 10 to the power 6 odd iterations will be required. Square of 1000. On is On. This is basic computer science, right? If you want, okay. Sir, there's a problem in understanding this time complexity, how to do it correctly. Okay, so this is some off-topic question. This is basics of computer science. So have you gone through the course algorithm design and analysis? Ada? COE में होगा, I guess. Algorithm design and analysis, yeah, design of algorithm and analysis. Okay, it is DA in your. So in that you must have gone over various complexities of different algorithms, like for loops, double for loops, nested for loops, some while loops, log factors. So practice that. वहीं से समझ आएगा कि complexity कैसे निकालनी. Cool. So should we move forward with tabulation? So यहाँ पे वो डाउट क्लियर हो जाएगा जो कह रहा था कि 2D ग्रिड ही होती है डायनेमिक प्रोग्रामिंग. Cool. So now we have tabulation. ठीक है. So यहाँ पे हमने देखा what we saw was that Fibonacci f of there is only one variable which it is dependent on, right? मतलब कुछ ऐसा तो नहीं था ना कि f of n comma m depends on f of n minus 1 comma m minus x, जहाँ पे x कुछ होगा. मतलब दो variables नहीं थे ना in my function. We had only one variable, right? So अगर मेरे पास एक variable है, that means I just need one 1D array to save it, क्योंकि एक variable है उस array में save हो जाएगा. Yes or no? Let's say मेरे पास कोई function होता which was of this form, Fibonacci of n comma m, or we have functions like knapsack. Knapsack problem क्या है? It is index comma weight, index comma profit sometimes. Yes or no? जिनने भी करी है, नहीं करी है तो don't worry, don't get confused, right? अगर मेरे पास दो हैं, then how many I will be needing 2D array? to memorize it? Yes or no? Because I have two variables now. N में एक m है. So for this n, I have to store this m. Right? So let's say मेरे पास एक तीसरा variable भी होता in some function. हो सकते हैं. Not a big issue. Right? तो मेरे पास एक और आ जाती है यहाँ पे. I would have a 3D array then. कि इस n में, इस m में, इस k में ये store कर दो. So are you getting this? 1D DP, 2D DP, 3D DP. This is 3D DP, right? 3-dimensional DP. Here we are worried about 3 dimensions. That is n, m and k. And similarly, multi-dimensional हो जाती है, k dimensionals हो जाती है. Any problem in that? तो वो doubt clear है किसी का जो कहता है कि 2D array चाहिए होती है. We need 2D arrays when we have two variables in our dynamic programming solution. I hope that's fine to everyone. Cool. Let's move forward and let's do this tabulation part. Okay. So is this part clear, guys? Optimize क्यों बोला मैंने? Optimizing recursion is dynamic programming. Yeah, I'll give you an example of 2D one. Do not worry. I'll give you. Cool. So optimization दो तरह से कर सकते हैं. One is memoization. That means top down approach होती है. Why is it a top down approach? I'll explain you all these terms, right? Top down, bottom up, right? So and the second approach is tabulation. So tabulation is also used for for optimizing, right? So we have two terms, memoization and tabulation. Let's tabulate it, right? So this was a memoization example. Now let's move on to the second code. Again, we'll be writing a very simple code. Let's say I have an array Fibonacci of, and let's say I have an n, and let's say it is 20. Cool. So I have an array which is Fibonacci of n. Cool. And now see this. I'm filling the base cases. That is, I'm saying Fibonacci of 1 is equal to 1, which is equal to Fibonacci of 2, which is equal to 1. Cool. And I'm starting from 3, going till equal to n. So I'll have an array of one more length. And what I'll say is I'll simply say that Fibonacci of I is equal to Fibonacci of I minus 1 plus Fibonacci of I minus 2. Now see this. This is tabulation. What does this mean? I starts from 3. So in first iteration, we'll have Fibonacci of 3 is equal to Fibonacci of 2 plus Fibonacci of 1. Was that already stored? Store कर रखा है ना guys वो पहले हमने 1 and 2 the base cases. So Fibonacci of 3 बन जाएगा यहाँ पे. अब Fibonacci of 3 is formed. Now I will increment I कहाँ पे पहुंचेगा 4 पे. तो क्या आएगा यहाँ पे Fibonacci of 4 is equal to Fibonacci of 3 which has already been calculated and it is in the array जो previous iteration में हुआ था plus Fibonacci of 2 दोनों बने हुए हैं right. So again Fibonacci of 4 will form calculate हो जाएगा जो भी होगा. So तुम point समझ रहे हो यहाँ पे. This is bottom up approach. मतलब हम bottom से शुरू कर रहे हैं ना यहाँ पे. We starting from 1, 2, then making 3, then making 4, then making 5, 6, 7, 8. What is the top down approach? This is the top down approach. जहाँ पे we started with n, directly we started with 6. फिर हमने कहा 5 बनाओ, 4 बनाओ, फिर हमने कहा 3 बनाओ, 2 बनाओ. So it's top down approach. We are going from top to down in a tree and then calculating things. But here, what we are doing is we are going bottom up. हम 6 पे तो लास्ट में पहुंचेंगे ना, हम 20 पे तो लास्ट में पहुंचेंगे, right? See, both the approaches are linear. This is also linear approach. This is O of 2n approach, right? मैं तुम्हें तो count भी print करा के दिखा दिया कि this is the exact it's taking, right? 2n is also linear, right? Because 2 is a constant, so 2 into n is kind of on only. We all know that. Yeah, okay, we'll discuss the space complexity. But this is more linear. So there was a किसने पूछा था, जिसने भी पूछा था कि क्या हम इसे और ऑप्टिमाइज कर सकते हैं. सो दिस इज द मोर ऑप्टिमाइजेशन वी हैव. इट इज ओ ऑफ एन ओनली. एक फॉर लूप है, ये हमने दो यहाँ सेट करे, बाकी यहाँ सेट हो रहे हैं, कोई कॉल नहीं हो रही, नथिंग, एक फॉर लूप चल रही है एन तक. दिस इज ओ एन गाइस. एनी प्रॉब्लम इन दिस? तो क्या हम इसे और ऑप्टिमाइज कर सकते हैं? कर सकते हैं, राइट? Can't think. Okay, yes, we can optimize space. Okay. अच्छा, याद आया, स्पेस कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी डिस्कस करनी, विल डिस्कस दैट, डोंट वरी. तो एक और ऑप्टिमाइजेशन ये हो सकता है ना गाइस कि एफ ऑफ एन को मैंने एन के टर्म्स में डिफाइन कर दिया. दैट मीन्स इट्स अ फॉर्मूला ऑफ एन कि एन स्क्वायर माइनस एन क्यूब प्लस एन की पावर, कुछ भी हो सकता है. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. एक फॉर्मूला है जो एन पे डिपेंड करता है, एंड जस्ट कैलकुलेट दैट फॉर्मूला. यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट गाइस? मतलब जरूरी नहीं है, इट्स नॉट ओनली अबाउट फिबोनाची नंबर्स, इट कैन बी अबाउट एनी अदर सीरीज. देयर आर मेनी सीरीज. अच्छा, एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. हैव यू हर्ड, एनसीआर तो पढ़ा ही होगा, सब बीटेक कर रहे हैं, राइट? तो वी नो अबाउट एनसीआर, राइट? सो हाउ टू जनरेट दैट फॉर्मूला, दैट इज बाय यूजिंग जनरेटिंग फंक्शंस. वो बहुत बड़ी चीज है. मतलब मेरी ब्रांच थी मैथमेटिक्स एंड कंप्यूटिंग, उसमें वो सब यूज होता था. आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट तुम्हारे में है या नहीं, वो अलग चीज है. इग्नोर दैट, राइट? एंड आई गिव यू अनदर वे टू डू दैट, जनरेट अ फॉर्मूला. तो एनसीआर क्या होता था? एदर, सॉरी, राइट, प्लस एन माइनस वन सी आर माइनस वन. डू यू रिमेंबर दिस? 11th में या 12th में होगा. How can I select r items from n total items? Either I'll select r items from n minus 1 items, that means I'm kind of including the rth item. समझना ये कैसे आया? rth item को include कर रहा हूं मैं, तो just select r item from n minus 1 items. और मैं nth item को include नहीं कर रहा हूं. If I'm not including nth item, that means select r minus 1 items from n minus 1 items. छोड़ो, वो दूसरी चीज है. तो ये इट्स अ फॉर्मूला, राइट? हम इसे ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं ना, सी एन आर इज इक्वल टू सी एन माइनस वन आर प्लस, इफ आई एम राइटिंग इट करेक्ट, आई एम नॉट श्योर. ऐसे लिखते हैं ना गाइस. ये फॉर्मूला हो गया. इट इज अ रिकर्सिव रिलेशन, वी नो दिस. अब बताओ, अगर मुझे ये कोड करना है, आई कैन इजिली कोड दिस. रिकर्जन लिख सकता हूँ. हाउ टू फाइंड आउट एनसीआर एंड देन राइट बेस केसेस जब जीरो पहुंच जाएगा एन या आर, राइट? इफ आई वांट टू मेमोइज इट, मुझे कितने डीपी लगेगी? विच टाइप ऑफ एरे आई नीड? 2D array, correct. Why do I need 2D array? Because I have two variables n and r. समझ आ रहा है कि what is 1D, 2D, 3D, DP and all. It's a basic example. तो मैं इस एग्जाम्पल में कहाँ से आया था? कोई डाउट था, मतलब एक डाउट था. किसका डाउट था? फॉर दैट आई रोट दिस एग्जाम्पल. नहीं, दिस इज 2D. Yeah, more optimization, right? Sorry, more optimization, exactly. So thank you Rishabh. So I was on more optimization. तो अब बताओ, मैं कोड करूंगा तो this will take kind of, मुझे n क्रॉस n dp चाहिए होगी एरे, वो पूरी भरेगी, तो n क्रॉस n will be the space complexity as well as the time complexity, क्योंकि उतनी कॉल्स बन रही होंगी, right? But I can do it easily, right? By simply stating a formula which is, it is equal to n factorial upon r factorial n minus r factorial. Yes or no? isn't that more optimized? I hope that is very clear, right? हमने कहाँ से एक्सपोनेंशियल से शुरू करा, 2n पे आए, फिर n पे आए, now we have an O of n example जिसमें हमें पता है what is n factorial, what is r factorial, what is n minus r factorial. We have all the factorials calculated. Cool है? Any problem in this? This was an example of more optimized approach. So I'll give you a good task. जो Fibonacci numbers हैं, as I have heard about it, जितना मुझे याद आ रहा है, that Fibonacci of numbers का भी एक formula है, but it is in the terms of imaginary numbers. समझ पा रहे हो? मतलब एक imaginary, we all know what are imaginary numbers, real numbers and complex numbers. Sorry, complex is real plus imaginary, right? तो complex numbers के form में एक Fibonacci का formula है, and if we solve that complex problem, we'll get that particular Fibonacci number. देख लेना मन करे तो, वैसे कोई ऐसी बड़ी चीज नहीं है, and I'm also not sure कि मैं सही बोल रहा हूँ या गलत, but I think there is, मैंने कभी पढ़ा था. Cool. So we know there are many series like NCR series और बहुत सारी series हैं. All of them have a recursion. सारी series में recursion होता है कि where it is depended on, right? And that series is not dynamic programming. Dynamic programming is nothing but optimizing a recursion. I hope the basics of dynamic programming is very clear to you. We all know what is top down. We all know what is bottom up. We all know what is memoization. We all know what is tabulation. And we all know what are Fibonacci numbers series. We know what is optimizing recursion. We know what is dynamic here and what is programming. Any doubts till now? I'll just move one step ahead then. Nice question, Anmol. तो जितना मुझे याद आ रहा है, फर्स्ट ईयर की मैथ्स में, सॉरी गेटिंग अ कॉल, 1 मिनट में आ रहा हूँ. सॉरी. तो या, तो कहाँ पे था मैं? कहाँ पे था मैं? सुबह दिन भर मतलब काम किया ना कुछ ज्यादा ही आज, मतलब हैकाथन चल रही है इनसाइड गूगल, तो उसमें बहुत टाइम लग रहा है. एंड ऑफ सीरीज, राइट? सो एंड ऑफ सीरीज में क्या था कि फर्स्ट ईयर में हमने पढ़ा था ना, देयर आर कन्वर्जेंट सीरीज, डाइवर्जेंट सीरीज, तुम लोगों ने भी पढ़ा होगा. फिर हम सीरीज के रेशियो लेके निकालते थे एंड ऑल दैट. मतलब मैंने 4 साल पहले पढ़ा था. तो फ्रॉम वैसे तो आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज एन एंड टू अ सीरीज, राइट? बट जनरली हम क्या करते हैं, लिमिट लगा देते हैं, राइट? दैट लिमिट इफ दिस अप्रोचेस दिस तो क्या वैल्यू होगी एंड ऑल दैट. हैकाथन इनसाइड मतलब गूगल के अंदर एक हो रही है मेरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में. ओके, कूल है. तो सीरीज में जो भी पढ़ना हो यार वो खुद पढ़ लेना, मैं यहाँ पे डायनेमिक प्रोग्रामिंग करते हैं. You don't need to know any of the series. Fibonacci series is just an example, right? बताओ knapsack problem जो है हमारे पास, it is not a series, right? It completely depends on the knapsack capacity we have, the profit we are getting from the items we are picking up. वो कोई series थोड़ी ना है. I am saying that DP के अंदर एक series भी आती है. And okay, एक चीज याद आ गई, तुम्हारे बहुत काम आएगी. So we have this OEIS, which is Online Encyclopedia of Integer Sequences, right? So let's say तुम्हें कोई series पता करनी है कि you have heard that there is a series that's जिसके middle terms are 5, 8 and 13. ठीक है? Let's say तुमने middle terms निकाली, want to find out which series is that. Then what I'll do is 5, 8, 13. I'll just search it here. The first series, so the series that I've got is Fibonacci of n, Fibonacci numbers. with Fibonacci of 0 as 0, Fibonacci of 1 as 1. That's what we have done. First term हमने 1 ली थी, but it is starting from 0. Cool. अब तुम ये देखो कि इसके बारे में कितना कुछ है. Let me show you. वैसे बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ है, मतलब यार ये ज़्यादा बड़ी वाली सीरीज हो गई. मतलब there are lots of series, like millions of series, है ना. तो मैं कहाँ पे आता था? Yeah, somewhat over here. Yeah, there's a whole thing about it कि ये सीरीज इससे इस सीरीज से यहाँ रिलेटेड है, उस सीरीज की यहाँ पे रिलेटेड है and all that. And of course this is the main series of all time Fibonacci numbers, right? That's why we all know about it. तो इसके ऊपर documentation भी बड़ी होगी. Cool. So this is nothing but encyclopedia of integer sequences. You can find out if you want to know about sequences or series over here. And इनके ना generating functions वगैरह सब यहाँ दिए होते हैं, मतलब बहुत high level maths है. I would suggest कि मत जाओ इसमें deep, right? But just giving you an example. If you want to know about series and sequences and integers, ठीक है? Cool. तो yeah. And यहीं पे तुम्हें वो भी मिल जाएगा कि does this have a formula or not, मतलब n पे directly depend करता है या नहीं. The complex one I was telling you about. ढूंढ लेना, ठीक है, जो भी है. So this part is very clear, guys, which is all of this. Now we have some new terms, right? दो नए terms हैं, एक बार उनको समझ लेते हैं. और वो हम already कर चुके हैं, बस हमें वो term समझने हैं. And those are the two terms जो हम हर DP problem में लगाएंगे, right? So and after this I'll be make problem कराऊंगा तुम्हें from CodeChef या Codeforces, जो भी तुम कहोगे, और उसमें हम DP लगा लेंगे, ठीक है? And we'll understand how it is working actually. So what we have is first term is called optimal substructure, and the second thing is called overlapping subproblems. Have you heard about this? Great. आज तुम्हें मतलब थोड़ा deep में समझ आ जाएगा. So what does the term means? Optimal substructure. Optimal मतलब ना ज़्यादा ना कम, right? So if I'm calculating Fibonacci of n, मुझे बस n-1 चाहिए and n-2 चाहिए. Do I need Fibonacci of n-3, or do I need Fibonacci of n-4 or Fibonacci of n+2 or something to calculate Fibonacci of n? No, right? मतलब indirectly मुझे चाहिए Fibonacci of n-3, n-4 indirectly, right? But I don't need them directly for Fibonacci of n. That means अगर if I don't need Fibonacci of n-3, I would not use it into my recursive relations, right? मतलब जो मैंने यहाँ पे recursion लिखा है, which is if I do it this way, and मतलब calculate कर लिया but not using it, तो बताओ is this an optimal substructure? क्या इस optimal substructure बनेगा? मतलब इस tree में फिर I'll have a third branch, right? n-3 कॉल हो रहा है ना, तो एक third branch आ जाएगी, right? Although I'm not using it, but I'm calling it. So that won't be an optimal substructure. Are you getting my point? Optimal मतलब जितना चाहिए उतना ही रखो, उतना ही calculate कर लो, उतना ही मांगो and all that. Cool. So this is what optimal substructure means. Na kam na ज़्यादा. Just worry about those states. So these are states. Fibonacci of n is a state, right? And just worry about those states which is dependent on the current state, not the other states, right? जो एक step नीचे होगा वो अगला state अपने आप cover कर लेगा, because वो उसके लिए important है, हमारे लिए नहीं. We just have to think about one step deeper, not two steps deeper. Cool. Cool है guys. Okay. तो ठीक है, here we have and the second is overlapping subproblems. मतलब मैं इनकी definition समझा रहा हूँ तो तुम्हें already पता है. Overlapping subproblem तो समझ आ गया होगा. That's why we are using memoization, because there are some problems, subproblems, that is जैसे हमने देखा इसमें Fibonacci of 4, right? फिबोनाची ऑफ 4 इज एन ओवरलैपिंग सब प्रॉब्लम. ओवरलैप हो रही है, एक बार कैलकुलेट होगी फिर से कैलकुलेट होना चाह रही है. इट्स एन ओवरलैपिंग सब प्रॉब्लम, सी वी वांट कैलकुलेट इट अगेन. गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? I hope these two terms are very clear. Overlapping subproblems and optimal substructure. मतलब कहीं भी जाके if you read about dynamic programming, they will start from these two particular terms. Optimal substructure मतलब recursion अपना that we are figuring out, and we'll do a problem and we'll figure out the recursion. Overlapping subproblems मतलब अपनी memorization, the optimizing part. So that's why I call it optimizing recursion, right? The first step is to find a recursion, a valid recursion. The second step is optimizing it. Second step is not tough. Second step is very easy. Either we'll do it using tabulation or we'll do it using memoization. But the first step is the most tough part. कि recursion कैसे बनाए भाई, right? If we are finding out a recursion, तो how will I मतलब वही दिमाग लगाना है कि ये recursion कैसे बनेगा, on which states will it depend. एक एग्जांपल दूं, एक क्वेश्चन करें, बहुत बेसिक सा, गेम थ्योरी का है, नॉर्मल, या थ्योरी में ही जाना है अभी, बता दो जैसे भी. क्वेश्चन करते हैं, उसका कोड भी कर लेंगे, ठीक है. तो बहुत फेमस प्रॉब्लम है गेम थ्योरी की, बेसिक ही है, लेकिन द प्रॉब्लम इज वेरी सिंपल. लेट्स से मैंने करा भी रखी है, फिर से करा देते हैं. टीचिंग तभी बोरिंग हो जाती है बिकॉज रिपीट करना पड़ता है, पर बच्चे नए होते हैं तो ठीक है. तो थोड़ा गेम थ्योरी को मैं डीपी में मिक्स कर रहा हूँ, बट डोंट वरी, बहुत ईजी है. हमारे पास दो प्लेयर्स हैं, एलिस एंड बॉब, राइट? सो वी कॉल देम ए एंड बी, राइट? एंड लेट्स से एक स्टोन यहाँ पे पड़ा है ऑन 12, राइट? सो व्हाट कैन एलिस और बॉब डू? दोनों के लिए सेम रूल्स होंगे. इट्स अ फेयर गेम. तो रूल क्या होंगे कि एलिस कैन पिक अप दैट स्टोन एट 12 पे वो स्टोन उठाएगी, and she can place that stone anywhere. If she's speaking from n, she can place it anywhere on n-1, n-2 or n-3. क्लियर है गाइस रूल? मतलब एलिस या बॉब कोई भी हो, दे हैव द सेम रूल. किसी को हिंदी में ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है? अगर है तो बता दो, आई जस्ट डू इट इन इंग्लिश. समटाइम्स मतलब हो जाता है इंग्लिश हिंदी, मतलब फ्लो में, राइट? मतलब कंप्यूटर्स पूरा मतलब इंग्लिश में ही है, इसलिए सीखनी पड़ती है. Okay, so we have Alice or Bob, and the only rule is that जिसकी भी चांस होगी, they will pick up the stone at n, place it at n-1, n-2 और n-3, मतलब 12 है, और एलिस की चांस है तो वो उठा के 11, 10 या 9 पे रख सकती है. उसके बाद किसकी चांस आ जाएगी? बॉब की. सो दे आर अल्टरनेटिंग टर्न्स, ठीक है? अब मुझे बताओ, द गेम एंड्स व्हेन अ प्लेयर इज नॉट एबल टू मेक अ मूव. मतलब अगर यहाँ पे आ गया स्ट्राइकर इन द एंड, एंड लेट्स से इट्स बॉब्स चांस, तो बॉब हार जाएगा, राइट? समझ आ रही है? मतलब व्हेन विल द गेम एंड? कभी तो एंड होगा ना, बिकॉज हमेशा पीछे ही आ रहे हैं. सो लेट्स से इट्स माय चांस और एलिस और बॉब किसी की भी चांस है, एंड ही इज ऑन 3 और सॉरी ही इज ऑन 0, देन दैट पर्सन विल लूज. अच्छा, किसी ने करा है ये प्रॉब्लम पहले? नो? ओके, ग्रेट. अच्छा, एक ने करा है. तो अगर करा भी है तो अच्छी बात है, मतलब तुम्हें यहाँ से एक और चीज पता चलेगी कि यहाँ पे डीपी कैसे लग रही है, ठीक है? मतलब तुमने इसका डायरेक्टली आंसर देखा होगा, बट उसके पीछे की मैं डीपी बता रहा हूँ, और उसके बाद एक और चीज रियलाइज कराऊंगा बाद में. बट जस्ट स्टे ऑन देयर, इट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग प्रॉब्लम. तो बताओ कौन जीतेगा? 12 पे है तो एलिस इज द फर्स्ट वन टू मेक अ मूव. अच्छा लुक एट एलिस. अच्छा 11 पे होता तो कौन जीतता? If the striker was initially at 11 and it's Ali's chance. Bob. Acha. So we all know about this. Do we know about this? अच्छा अगर n equals to some 2 1 5 6 9 पे होता तो कौन जीतता? Bob. Okay. ठीक है. So let's understand this. Like इसमें DP कैसे लग रही है, इसका recursion कैसे बन रहा है, right? So how we'll do is we'll solve this problem using bottom up approach, and we will just write boolean values 1 या 0 लिखेंगे इन सब जगह पे. 1 मतलब अगर मेरी चांस है और मैं जीत सकता हूँ तो आई विल विन. तो बताओ यहाँ पे 0 आएगा ऑन 0, because what does 0 represents? कि I lose if it's my chance and I'm going to play, right? I'll lose, right? If I'm on 0 and the striker is on 0, मेरी चांस है. समझ पा रहे हो? मतलब मेरी चांस है और स्ट्राइकर अभी यहाँ पड़ा है तो आई लूज, राइट? दैट्स द एंडिंग ऑफ द गेम. प्लेयर अनेबल टू मेक अ मूव लूजेस. सो इफ आई एम लूजिंग आई एम राइटिंग 0. अब बताओ इफ स्ट्राइकर इज ऑन 1 तो कौन जीतेगा? मतलब मेरी चांस है, विल आई विन और लूज? इग्नोर एलिस और बॉब. मेरी चांस है, स्ट्राइकर इज ऑन 1, आई विल विन. व्हाई विल आई विन? बिकॉज मैं अगले को 0 दे दूंगा एंड ही लूज. दैट मीन्स आई एम विनिंग, राइट? 2 पे कौन जीतेगा? विल आई विन ऑन 2 और विल आई लूज? मतलब 1 आएगा या 0 आएगा? नहीं अभी चांस भूल जाओ किसकी है, समझो चांस मेरी है, राइट? आई एम गोइंग टू प्ले. विल आई विन और लूज? मैं जीतूंगा, राइट? बिकॉज मैं एक स्टोन अगर एन पे पड़ा है तो मुझे n-1 पे भी रख सकता हूँ, n-2 पे भी रख सकता हूँ और n-3 पे भी रख सकता हूँ, मेरी मर्जी. तो 2 पर है तो आई कैन इजिली कीप इट एट n-2 विच इज 0, राइट? अब मैंने स्टोन उठा के 0 पे रख दिया तो आई विल विन, राइट? बिकॉज द अदर प्लेयर विल लूज. मतलब मैंने अगले प्लेयर को लूजिंग पोजिशन दे दी, ही लूज, सो आई विल विन. नाउ टेल मी अबाउट 3. Will I win on 3 or will I lose on 3? Win, right? Why? Because मैं उसे सीधे 0 दे दूंगा. Great. Now tell me if I'm on 4. Will I win or lose? Lose. Correct. Why will I lose? Because 4 से मैं 3 पे दे सकता हूँ उसको, 2 पे दे सकता हूँ और 1 पे दे सकता हूँ, right? But मैं उसे 2 पे दूँ, 1 पे दूँ या 3 पे दूँ, all of them are winning position for him because he will be going to play, right? इन 1-0 का यही तो मतलब है कि जिस बंदे की चांस है वो जीतेगा या हारेगा अगर वो वहां से खेलता है तो, राइट? तो टू द सेकंड प्लेयर, मतलब आई एम द फर्स्ट प्लेयर, तो अगर मैं 4 से कहीं भी मूव करता हूँ द अदर प्लेयर विल विन बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ देम आर विनिंग स्टेट्स एंड दिस इज अ लूजिंग स्टेट, करेक्ट? किसी कोई प्रॉब्लम है या 0 क्यों आ रहा है? कूल. नाउ व्हाट अबाउट 5? 5 से मैं 4 भी जा सकता हूँ, 3 भी जा सकता हूँ, 2 भी जा सकता हूँ. विल आई विन और लूज? खुद सोचो, अगर एक भी लूजिंग पोजीशन है मेरे पास कि मैं अगले प्लेयर को लूजिंग पोजीशन दे दूं तो मैं उसे दे दूंगा ना. डिपेंड्स नहीं लक्ष्य. सी व्हेनेवर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एलिस एंड बॉब, तुमने एक वर्ड सुना होगा विच इज दैट बोथ प्लेयर्स प्ले ऑप्टिमली. बोथ ऑफ देम आर सुपर कंप्यूटर्स, ऐसा समझ लो. अगर वो जीत सकते हैं तो वो वही मूव करेंगे जो उन्हें जिताएगा. गेटिंग द पॉइंट? बोथ प्लेयर्स प्ले ऑप्टिमली, या योर आंसर वाज करेक्ट. बट जनरली गेम थ्योरी में क्या कहते हैं, जैसे लेट्स से आई एम प्लेइंग चेस विद यू, अब मुझे एक फोर्स चेकमेट दिख रही है इन 5 मूव्स, लेट्स से फोर्स चेकमेट है ना, तो मैं वही मूव करूंगा, आई जस्ट चेकमेट यू, राइट? मैं कुछ और नहीं चलूंगा बिकॉज आई एम एन ऑप्टिमल प्लेयर, आई एम प्लेइंग इट ऑप्टिमली. सो फ्रॉम 5 विल आई विन और लूज? आई विल विन. ग्रेट. तो 1 आएगा यहाँ पे बिकॉज मैं अगले को 4 दे दूंगा. अब बॉब की चांस है, बॉब कहीं भी चले, यहाँ यहाँ या यहाँ, मैं उसको फिर से 0 दे दूंगा और वो हार जाएगा. 6 का बताओ, विनिंग और लूजिंग? विन. क्यों? उसे 4 दे दूंगा, राइट? 7 भी विनिंग होगा, 8 लूजिंग होगा, 9 10 11 विनिंग होगा, 12 लूजिंग होगा, राइट? सो कैन वी सी अ पैटर्न हियर that if a number is in a multiple of 4 he will lose, right? मतलब मेरी चांस है और कोई 4 का मल्टीपल है तो मैं कहीं भी चलूं, बॉब मुझे फिर से 4 का मल्टीपल दे देगा, right? That means if I start at 12 and I play anywhere which is 10 11 or 9, what will Bob do? वो मुझे वापस 8 दे देगा. फिर मैं 8 से कहीं भी चलूं, 7 6 5, वो मुझे क्या करेगा? अपनी चांस में वापस 4 दे देगा, राइट? 4 से मैं कहीं भी जाऊं, 3 2 और 1, वो वापस मुझे 0 दे देगा एंड आई लूज. दैट मीन्स आई डोंट हैव एन ऑप्शन टू विन, करेक्ट? बट इफ आई स्टार्ट इट एनी अदर टर्म इंस्टेड ऑफ मल्टीपल ऑफ 4, तो मैं उससे मल्टीपल ऑफ 4 दे दूंगा एंड ही विल लूज बिकॉज ही इज ऑन लूजिंग पोजीशन एंड सेम चीज हो जाएगी. कूल. बिकॉज नाउ इट्स हीज चांस ऑन 12 नॉट माइन एंड आई विल डू द सेम विद हिम. क्लियर है ये पार्ट? देखो यहाँ तो हमें पैटर्न दिख गया. जनरली पैटर्न्स नहीं होते हैं बिकॉज पैटर्न क्यों था यहाँ पे? बिकॉज यहाँ पे n-1 था, n-2 था, n-3 था, करेक्ट? लेट से इनकी जगह ऐसा होता, n-3 पे रख सकते हो, n-10 पे रख सकते हो, n-11 पे रख सकते हो, तो एक पैटर्न आता बट आफ्टर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम, राइट? मेरी बात समझ रहे हो? 1 2 3 था तो हमें छोटा पैटर्न दिख गया, राइट? एक बार तुम खुद ट्राई करना, जस्ट ट्राई फॉर 2 3 4, 2 3 and 4, you will see a different pattern, right? And then you can try it for more bigger terms और तुम देखोगे कि पैटर्न बन तो रहा है बट आफ्टर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम, राइट? और बड़े नंबर लोगे और लंबा पैटर्न बनेगा एंड सो ऑन. देखो एस्ट्रोलॉजी इसी चीज पे तो काम करती है. इट्स अबाउट द पैटर्न दैट आवर एंसेस्टर्स हैव ऑब्जर्व्ड ओवर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ इयर्स, राइट? कि ये पैटर्न चला आ रहा है तो इस डेट को अब ये होने वाला है. Getting the point? Of course that pattern is a huge pattern, but there is a pattern. छोड़ो, वहां नहीं जाते हैं. So is this part clear? अब इसका वो बनाते हैं डायनेमिक प्रोग्रामिंग सॉल्यूशन, राइट? तो हमें तो पता चल गया कि हम इसको सॉल्व कर सकते हैं इजीली. हमने फाइनली वो भी निकाल दिया पैटर्न क्या है एंड ऑल दैट. बट आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि 1 2 और 3 ही हो. मैं कह रहा हूँ कुछ भी हो सकता है, एनीथिंग, राइट? सो व्हाट विल हैपन कि हम कहेंगे f of n क्या है. फर्स्टली विल डिफाइन दिस स्टेट. f of n इज अ बुलियन वैल्यू. हर डीपी में यही करना, सबसे पहले उसे डिफाइन करना है कि मैं f of इसको ये रिप्रेजेंट कराना चाहता हूँ, देन मेक दोस रिकर्सिव कनेक्शंस. सो इट्स अ बुलियन वैल्यू which represents whether I will win or instead whether player will win or lose if it's his turn, if it's his turn on n. Clear? Right? So how can I define my recursive relation here? F of n will be dependent on f of n minus 1, f of n minus 2, f of n minus 3. But कैसे डिपेंड करेगा? बुलियन है, कुछ तो होना चाहिए, राइट? फॉर दैट व्हाट विल सी इज विल सी सम रिलेशंस. कोई बुलियन लॉजिकल एक्सप्रेशंस के ऑपरेटर्स के हम यूज केसेस देखेंगे. दैट मींस लेट्स से व्हेन कैन दिस बी अ विनिंग स्टेट? विनिंग स्टेट कब हो सकता है f of n? व्हेन एनी वन ऑफ देम इज अ लूजिंग स्टेट. कोई भी इनमें से एक 0 होगा तो इसे 1 होना चाहिए, राइट? यस और नो? राइट. और ये लूजिंग स्टेट कब होगी? जब तीनों 1 होने चाहिए. अनमोल, आई एम नॉट वरीड अबाउट n राइट नाउ. यहाँ पे n-1, n-2, n-3 एक रीजन से लिखा है मैंने. यहाँ पे हमें पैटर्न दिख गया, उसका सीधा आंसर ये था n mod 4 is 0, तो ये. बट हमेशा ऐसा नहीं होगा, ये मैं समझाना चाह रहा हूँ. समझ रहे हो या नहीं समझ रहे हो? एक मैं प्रॉब्लम दिखाई दूं क्या तुम्हें? एक प्रॉब्लम दिखाता हूँ. कैंडीज है क्या? नहीं, ये नहीं है. स्टोन्स है क्या? ये है. अब ये देखो, एक बार ये प्रॉब्लम पढ़ो. जस्ट टेक योर टाइम एंड रीड दिस प्रॉब्लम. पढ़ लिया सबने? बताओ, इसमें क्या ऐसा कुछ आएगा कि इफ n इज दिस तो ये, इसमें तो एक अदर वेरिएबल आ गया ना, a, राइट? दैट वाज अ स्मॉल एग्जांपल, तो यू सॉ अ पैटर्न, बट यहाँ पैटर्न नहीं दिखेगा बिकॉज a इज वेरी ह्यूज. करेक्ट? कूल गाइस? मतलब समझ पा रहे हो मैं वो क्यों समझा रहा हूँ उसका डीपी सॉल्यूशन? ऑल्दो वी हैव अ सॉल्यूशन व्हिच इज O1 सॉल्यूशन, बट मैं उसे डीपी क्यों बनाना चाह रहा हूँ? इसलिए ताकि तुमसे प्रॉब्लम्स हो जाएं. तो लेट्स कम बैक. तो अब बताओ हम इसको रिलेट कैसे कर सकते हैं? बस यही दिमाग लगाना है, और कुछ नहीं. बस ये दिमाग लगाना है कि हाउ इज दिस रिलेटिंग. तो अगर मैं ऐसे लिखूं कि इफ एफ ऑफ एन इज इक्वल टू एफ ऑफ एन माइनस 1 एंड एफ ऑफ एन माइनस 2 एंड एफ ऑफ एन माइनस 3, तो करेक्ट होगा क्या? इफ एनी वन ऑफ देम इज 0 तो ये 0 हो जाएगा, विच इज व्हाट वी डोंट वांट, राइट? तो अगर मैं इसका अपोजिट कर दूं, विल दिस वर्क गाइस? नॉट ऑफ एंड, बिकॉज अगर तीनों 1 है तो 1 एंड 1 एंड 1 इज 1, नॉट ऑफ 1 इज 0. करेक्ट है? इट विल बी अ लूजिंग पोजीशन. और ये विनिंग कब होगी? जब इनमें से कोई भी एक 1 हो, सॉरी इनमें से कोई भी एक 0 हो. कोई भी एक 0 होगा, पूरी एक्सप्रेशन 0 हो जाएगी और उसका नॉट 1 हो जाएगा. थिंक अबाउट दिस. आई एम सॉल्विंग अ वेरी बेसिक प्रॉब्लम यूजिंग डायनेमिक प्रोग्रामिंग, वेरी बेसिक. इसमें तो बस लॉजिकल ऑपरेटर्स लग रहे हैं. मिन मैक्स, प्लस माइनस, मल्टीप्लाई डिवाइड, कॉम्बिनेशंस, कुछ नहीं लग रहा. समझ रहे हो? व्हेन विल दिस बी अ विनिंग पोजीशन? व्हेन वन ऑफ देम इज अ लूजिंग पोजीशन. एंड व्हेन विल दिस बी अ लूजिंग पोजीशन? व्हेन ऑल ऑफ देम आर विनिंग पोजीशंस. I'll share you the link, don't worry. तो वर्कशॉप डीपी बेस्ड थी, इसलिए हम जस्ट डीपी कंसंट्रेटेड. गेम थ्योरी का प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है, बट डीपी से सॉल्व होगा इफ वी हैव सम डिफरेंट कांस्टेंट्स. एनी डाउट इन दिस? व्हाट इज दिस? ये है क्या? इट्स अ रिकर्सिव रिलेशन. अग्री करते हो? हाउ कैन वी थिंक ऑफ दिस? यस आयुष, बस यही है डीपी, टू थिंक ऑफ दिस बुलियन टाइप रिलेशन. बस इतनी ही मेहनत करनी है कि हम ये बुलियन टाइप रिलेशन समझ सकें. एक सेकेंड. ठीक है, अब देखो मैंने कैसे सोचा. एफ एन माइनस 1, एफ एन माइनस 2, एफ एन माइनस 3. मुझे 1 कब चाहिए? यहाँ जब तीनों 0 हो. मुझे 0 कब चाहिए? लेट्स मेक ऑल द केसेस. तो नहीं, सॉरी उल्टा हो गया. 0 जब तीनों 1 हो. 1 कब चाहिए? जब ये भी वर्क कर सकता है. 0 0 0 इज ऑल्सो करेक्ट. 0 1 0 इज करेक्ट. 1 0 0 इज करेक्ट. मतलब एटलीस्ट 1 0 हो, है ना? दो जीरोस हो गए, लेट्स मेक एटलीस्ट 1 zeros, 1 1 0 0 1 1 और एक तीनों जीरोस तो हो गए, एटलीस्ट 1 zeros भी हो गए, 2 zeros भी हो गए, राइट. सो दिस इज द टेबल वी आर गेटिंग. अब इसको मुझे कन्वर्ट करना है तो यहाँ थोड़ा मुझे अपना माइंड यूज करना पड़ेगा, राइट. दैट मीन्स अगर मेरे पास एक भी जीरो है तो मुझे 1 चाहिए, एंड इफ ऑल ऑफ देम आर वंस आई वांट अ जीरो. तो अगर मैं एंड करता हूँ, एक भी जीरो होता है तो होल ऑफ इट विल बिकम जीरो एंड आई टेक अ नॉट ऑफ इट, राइट. मतलब ये सोचने का पार्ट है, मतलब इसका कोई वो नहीं है, मतलब कि मैं तुम्हें थ्योरी बता दूं. यहाँ पे सोचना पड़ेगा कि वो रिलेशन कैसे बनाएंगे, ठीक है. आई एम हेल्पलेस मतलब एट दिस. Like it is easy to see, understand, but coming up with our own is a real difficult. See, let me tell you some steps that will always help you in DP solution. The first step is to define a state. हमेशा सारे प्रॉब्लम्स कोई भी करो, अभी मैं तुम्हें बताऊंगा कहाँ से करना, सब प्रॉब्लम्स ऐसे ही करना. पहला स्टेप, डिफाइन स्टेट. जो भी तुम्हारी स्टेट है विच इज एफ ऑफ समथिंग. अच्छा, मैंने ना अभी मैं एक कोर्स ही बना रहा था डीपी पे, बट एक महीने से आई एम वेरी बिजी तो मैंने कुछ किया नहीं. वो कोर्स मैं यूडेमी पे निकाल दूंगा लाइक एक महीने में लगभग, ठीक है. और यूडेमी में सस्ता मिल जाता है, 300-400 में तुम्हें पड़ जाएगा, ठीक है. तो अगर मन करे तो वो कर लेना, दैट विल एक्सप्लेन यू एवरीथिंग. यहाँ पे 1 घंटा है, 1 घंटे में मेरे से जितना होगा वो मैं तुम्हें पढ़ा रहा हूँ, ठीक है. सो और सेकंड चीज गाइस, प्रैक्टिस. मतलब कोई कितना भी पढ़ा दे, तुम कितने महंगे कोर्स क्यों ना ले लो, एवरीथिंग विल डिपेंड ऑन योर प्रैक्टिस इन द एंड, राइट. मतलब लोग एलन जाते हैं, ब्रिलियंट जाते हैं, वाइब्रेंट जाते हैं, आकाश जाते हैं, राइट, बट हर कोई फर्स्ट क्यों नहीं आता. इट्स इज प्रैक्टिस, इट्स हार्ड वर्क, है ना. मतलब किसी को 10 घंटे प्रैक्टिस लगती है उस लेवल पे आने में, किसी को 8 घंटे लग सकती है बिकॉज ही हैज अ स्ट्रॉन्गर IQ और व्हाटएवर, राइट. सो इट्स योर प्रैक्टिस इन द एंड, राइट. हम बस तुम्हारा टाइम बचा सकते हैं, जैसे आज बचा रहा हूँ. मतलब इतना जो भी मैंने पढ़ाया वो सब समझने में तुम्हें काफी टाइम लग जाता अगर खुद पढ़ने बैठते तो. ऑप्टिमस सबसे मतलब बहुत सारी डेफिनेशन थी. तो पहला इज डिफाइन योर स्टेट, कि तुम्हें कितने वेरिएबल्स चाहिए, एक्स वाई जेड एन एम, जो भी चाहिए, जितने भी चाहिए. द सेकेंड इज स्टेट डिफाइन कर दिया, राइट योर रिकर्सिव सॉल्यूशन, रिकर्सिव रिलेशन, राइट. तो सबसे पहले मैंने क्या कहा था, मेरी जो स्टेट थी विच वाज एफ ऑफ समथिंग, जो मैंने उस समय लिखी हुई थी कि इफ आई एम प्लेइंग अ मूव एंड विल आई विन और लूज, वो मेरी डेफिनेशन थी. रिकर्सिव रिलेशन क्या आई, जो मैंने बता दी तुम्हें, विच इज एफ ऑफ एन, कि कैसे आई ये रिकर्सिव डेफिनेशन. इट इज इक्वल टू नॉट ऑफ एफ ऑफ एन माइनस वन एंड एफ ऑफ एन माइनस टू एंड एफ ऑफ एन माइनस थ्री. बस सेकेंड स्टेप इज द मोस्ट टफ. मतलब पहला तो है ही, देखो अगर पहले तुमने कोई स्टेट गलत डिफाइन कर दी, लेट्स यू गिव सम स्टेट अ डिफरेंट डेफिनेशन, तो उसका डिफरेंट रिकर्सिव रिलेशन बनेगा अगर बन रहा होगा तो. क्या पता तुमने स्टेट ही गलत डिफाइन कर दिया एंड यू आर गोइंग द रॉन्ग वे, है ना. तुम शुरू से ही दूसरी जगह दिमाग लगा रहे हो, तुम उस स्टेट की रिकर्सिव रिलेशन बना रहे हो जिसकी बन ही नहीं सकती या वो गलत हो. सो थिंकिंग अबाउट स्टेट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, पहला पार्ट. सेकेंड पार्ट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन द फर्स्ट पार्ट इफ फर्स्ट इज करेक्ट, ठीक है. एंड देन द थर्ड पार्ट कम्स विच इज मेमोराइजेशन, कि अच्छा रिकर्सिव बन गया, ठीक है, उसे कोड कर देते हैं और उसको मेमोराइज कर देते हैं. क्लियर है गाइस, 3 steps involved in dynamic programming. I've also given you an example here, a basic example, game theory भी मिक्स कर दिया उसमें. मतलब समझ आया तुम्हें, मतलब बिगनर के हिसाब से पढ़ाया एक्चुअली मैंने, तो जो मीडियम और करके बैठे होंगे थोड़ा बहुत, मे बी उनके लिए इतना नया ना हो. कूल. सो एनी डाउट्स गाइस, कोई डाउट वाउट हो तुम्हारे पास, नॉट रिलेटेड टू डीपी, कुछ भी हो पूछ लो, बिकॉज आई एम फिनिशिंग अप, wrapping up. I just gave you introduction to DP, nothing else, ठीक है. और एडवांस या कुछ अच्छा पढ़ना है तो बता देना कभी, और फिर से एक रख लेंगे वेबिनार, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. या कोई पर्टिकुलर डीपी पढ़नी हो कि यार ये वाली डीपी पढ़ा दो सर, बहुत सारी होती हैं, तो वो भी देख लेंगे। इस द पार्टी प्रीवियस प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन है ना? हाँ भाई है। मैं कोड करके दे दूं क्या? अच्छा हाँ, आई वाज टेलिंग यू 26 प्रॉब्लम्स, राइट? सो दिस इज एड कोडर डीपी कॉन्टेंट्स, गूगल करोगे तुरंत मिल जाएगा, बट मैं एक बार शेयर कर देता हूँ। आई सजेस्ट एवरीवन टू डू दी प्रॉब्लम्स। ये इंक्रीजिंग डिफिकल्टी ऑर्डर में है, यहाँ से स्टार्ट हो रही है ए से, एंड इट्स गोइंग ऑन टिल जेड, ठीक है? और बहुत टफ हो जाएगी लास्ट में। ए से शुरू करो, तुम्हें पता चल जाएगा कि डीपी क्या है, बस इतना कहूंगा। मतलब ये नहीं कहूंगा मास्टर बना देगी, इट विल टेल यू व्हाट इज डीपी। मतलब तुम्हें डीपी समझ आ जाएगी, मतलब 1-2 साल तक, वरना ना कोडिंग करते रहते हैं समझ नहीं आता यार डीपी है क्या, ठीक है? वंस यू डू दिस एंड यू फॉलो माय लेक्चर, समझ आ जाएगा। कुल। एंड एंड इफ पॉसिबल, अगर तुम्हें सही लगे तो codingminutes.com चेकआउट कर लेना। मतलब यूडेमी के कोर्सेज हैं, मंथ के एंड पे सस्ते पड़ जाते हैं, तो बहुत सस्ता पड़ेगा, ठीक है? और तीसरी चीज, द थर्ड थिंग विच इज कि नहीं, नो थर्ड, हाँ द थर्ड थिंग इज कि हाउ इज गूगल। गूगल इज ग्रेट, एंड सब सही है गूगल में, कोई दिक्कत नहीं आ रही है मुझे, एवरीथिंग इज वर्किंग फाइन नाउ। ऑनलाइन है बस थोड़ा उसका नुकसान हो गया, बिकॉज एक सिंगापुर ट्रिप हो जाती नहीं तो, बट ठीक है, फिर कभी, राइट? कूल। सो एनी अदर डाउट्स? कूल। आई एम डन, आई एम हैंडिंग ओवर द माइक टू यू।